It's with great pleasure that we welcome Audrey Byrne to the pulpit today. Audrey, sometimes we find ourselves asking, whatever happened to, some of the youth? Where did they go? What are they doing? And so it's a wonderful honor and privilege to have Audrey back here at St. John's to share with us this morning. Audrey has been a part of the parish for a long time. She was part of our confirmation class. In fact, she was kind of famous for something. You remember, don't you? Yeah. I was, during the big presentation of the sermons, I was sitting here, and I couldn't see anything. It was like, all the action was on that side. But each student stands up with a candle to do their presentation, and Audrey's hair a little bit on this side fell down a little bit, and the hair caught on fire, which I couldn't see. I just saw this big on the other side of the mentors over here putting a fire out that I could not actually see. I thought, I still think it was just the Holy Spirit. I mean, what she had to say was so incredible. She's since also gone on to work as an intern for Genesis, working for social justice, and she has so much more to share with us today about what she's doing and why. And in other words, she is still on fire. So thank you. That's great.
Thank you and good morning. I'm so grateful to be here because St. John's was a part of the people who raised me, and Keller and Scott and a lot of people who are here right now, so I'm really grateful for everybody. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this bicycle ride that I'm doing. And before I talk about the bicycle ride is raising money for AIDS and HIV research and treatment, and taking care of people with HIV and AIDS. And it's something that's really important to me because I've been working with asylum seekers and had some clients with HIV who were coming to America because they couldn't get treatment for their HIV and for their AIDS. And they're facing a lot of stigma in their home countries because of the illness that they had. And so, HIV and AIDS also has a really kind of intense history in the United States too. And in the 80s, when the AIDS epidemic was going on, it was huge in San Francisco, and a lot of you might remember it and have memories of it, have friends who went through it too. And when the AIDS epidemic was going on, nobody knew what the hell was going on. And people were so scared that if you touch somebody with AIDS, you could get AIDS. If you're in the same room with someone with AIDS, you could also get the disease. And people were scared to even say that they knew somebody with AIDS because it was such a stigmatized disease. And because of this stigma and because of the intense fear, there's a lot of people who ended up dying alone because of what was going on and because people are so scared. And it was a really sad time, a really intense time, but there was also some pretty incredible people too. If there was next slide, yeah. There was a man named Father Daniel Berrigan who was a Catholic priest during the 80s. And does anybody know about? Yeah? Okay, all right. You know more than I do. What do you know about him?
Very anti-war.
Very anti-war. He was very anti-war. During the Vietnam War, he was a pacifist. Death penalty. And he was actually the first priest to ever be on the FBI no-fly list because of his work doing because of his anti-war work. And he was actually sentenced to 3 years in prison because he burnt draft cards. And apart from this work that he did with the pacifist movement, he also took care of people with AIDS in the 80s in New York City. Remember, this was a time when people were so scared to sit on the same toilet seat as somebody with AIDS.
Yeah.
And he was coming into people's houses, he was bringing them clam chowder, he was bringing them food, he was letting people stay in his apartment, people who didn't have a place to go. And you know, in the passage that we read, Jesus goes up to the coffin, he touches the coffin, and it might have been somebody who had been sick, and it was somebody he didn't know. It was a stranger's coffin. There's a dead body. Dead bodies are pretty gross usually, but Jesus touched the coffin, you know, to show love, and that's what Father Berrigan was doing. He was going up to people and touching and reaching out to them and forming a connection with people. And right now, things are super scary, and there's a lot of fear going on. And I think the message from Jesus and from Father Berrigan and a lot of other people is reaching out and being able to connect in these times of fear. So we go on this slide. So I'm doing this bike ride to raise money for HIV and AIDS treatment and research, and we're gonna bike from San Francisco to Los Angeles. Do you know how far that is?
Yeah.
How far is it, Scott? It's a lot of miles.
I just said it was 4,550 miles. 560.
Okay, 560, yeah.
545.
Oh, it says it right there. Okay.
I always exaggerate.
Okay, yeah. It's
Like 4,000.
like 4,000. So we're gonna bike from LA to San Francisco to LA, and we're raising money for HIV treatment and research, and we're fundraising. Our goal is $7,000. Yeah, next one. $7,000. My partner and I are trying to reach together because we're gonna bike together, and it's gonna be for the San Francisco AIDS Foundation and also the LA LGBT Center. So I thank you all so much for listening to my story, and I hope that we can kind of remember this really brave act of connection that so many people have done during the AIDS crisis, and now people are also reaching out in times of fear and checking on loved ones and also checking on strangers too. So thank you very much.